What if I told you the easiest way to make 2 to 10 times more money than you are right now is not by spending more money, working harder, or not going out with your friends on a Friday night, but instead by focusing on just this one thing? And that by following a simple 4-step framework, you'd be able to forget about the complex spreadsheets and things that you have no idea how they work, and instead be able to manage your business on a napkin. 2, be able to quickly identify the highest ROI tasks in your business. And 3, reach your goals and aspirations 10 times faster with just 1/5 of the effort. I know that probably sounds too good to be true, and that's why in today's video, we're going to cover specifically what that one thing is and how it works, how that one thing allowed me to 5x my previous business in just 90 days, and also how we use that same one thing to scale my existing business with my partner from zero to well over $250,000 a month in under 6 months. Last but not least, we'll cover the simple 4-step framework that I've used over the last few years to master this one thing. Now, before we hop into things, I want to tell you a bit of a story. When I first dropped out of university 5 years ago, the reason I did it was to achieve a couple of probably the same goals that most of the people watching this video either had or currently have. And that is the simple things like retiring your parents, becoming financially free, traveling the world, working for nobody but myself, the whole 9 yards. And I did that by starting an agency that did social media management services. Basically, we shot photos and videos for local businesses, restaurants, dealerships, and then we would post them on social platforms with the copy and then track the results over time. Obviously a very challenging business, but usually where people get their start in this space. Now, what ended up happening, fast forwarding 6 to 12 months, is we ended up having a top line of about 10 to 20K, depending on the month. Some one-off contracts, but a lot of retainers on lower monthly fees. And the challenge was that I personally ended up working for 9 employers instead of none, which was my original goal. I was running around town, never having enough time to do the things that I wanted to, and definitely not having enough money because even though I was working really hard, I still had a team of people to pay to help me in areas that I couldn't cover myself. Now, at the time, I was bashing my head against the wall, wondering if it was ever going to be possible to achieve the things I originally set out to do, and I did this for years. I still to this day remember sitting in a garage with my dad and being like, I want to shut down this business. It's not what I expected it to be, and I believe that I've absolutely failed. And the reality was that I didn't know how to scale this business other than signing on another 20, 30, 40, 50 clients. And even if we were to sign an additional 20, 30, 40, 50 clients, I still didn't see a proper path to profitability. And so for years, I sat there struggling to scale my agency past that 20K a month bottleneck until I realized that my true bottleneck wasn't not having enough clients or not knowing how to manage my team or not knowing how to sell my clients better on higher retainers. It was simply that my offer sucked. It was so bad that I didn't know how to close clients on cold traffic, and I also couldn't position my service in a way that allowed me to get paid what I should be getting paid for the value I was providing to businesses. And the moment I realized that, a simple switch of firing all my existing clients, starting from scratch, charging a setup fee on the front end and a performance fee on the back end, the traditional growth operator model, I was able to quickly rebuild my business from zero back up to charging individual clients upwards of $50,000 a month. And I did that simply by removing the one bottleneck that was holding the business back. It was the offer. And this same principle we've applied at the business that my partner and I run today, and it's the reason why we were able to take it from zero to $250,000 a month in just under 6 months. And it's also the same reason why we're able to sit down once a week for 30 to 45 minutes, me and my partner, and manage our business on a napkin, really understand what our bottlenecks are without having to scratch our heads and wonder, are we actually focusing on the right thing? And what we're talking about here is actually the law of constraints, which is the idea or notion that your business and potentially even your life is being held back not by a myriad of small problems, but more so one big bottleneck, right? And that one big bottleneck is usually something that creates a bunch of other symptoms, which is what we look at as these small problems. Maybe it's, I can't close leads, so I need to work on my sales. Well, no, it's still your offer. Maybe it's, I can't be profitable in my business because I can't charge my clients enough. Well, no, it's still your offer. And so to break this all down, let's change screens so that I can draw some stuff out. So let's say you owned a lemonade stand, and pardon my bad drawing, I'm terrible at it. Lemons, right? And you get customers coming through the front door, a lot of them, right? And you can serve each one of these customers a little glass of lemonade because you over here are all happy that you're making sales. If you're a kid, line up in front of a grocery store on a hot summer day, this will probably be something that you could make happen for yourself. Now, the problem here is that eventually you're going to run out of supply. Or the line gets too long to the point where you can only service so many people before they start realizing, I don't really want to buy lemonade from this lemonade stand. I could just get it from the grocery store. And so what you do is you go out, let's get some yellow in here, and start buying a bunch of lemons. I can serve more people if I have more lemons. You get a couple more cups as well. A few more cups. Pardon the bad drawing. And you come back the next day and you're saying, all right, I'm ready to scale this thing. We're going to sell 2 times the number of customers. And once again, you get this long line of customers, but you still are only able to service the same amount as the previous day. And you sit there and you're wondering, well, I got the lemons and I got the cups to service everybody. Why isn't it working? And so the next day you go back and you say, well, maybe I just need to get more people in front of my business. Because, I mean, I have all these people in a line, but if I get them at different times, maybe that will help me. And so you start doing a little bit of marketing that night and you come back the next day expecting to make 2 to 10 times more money. But instead, you come away with the same amount of money because the line still keeps building up. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that the core problem is not that you don't have enough lemons. It's not that you don't have enough cups. And it's not that you don't have enough marketing because the people are all right there in front of your stand. The real problem is that you don't have a way to juice these lemons and serve them fast enough to serve the line before the line starts to realize it's not worth their time to wait. That is the true bottleneck. And where we end up in business so often, and I can tell you the reason why that my partner and I are not at $1 million a month or $2 million or $3 million a month and are instead stuck at 250 is because we don't know what that bottleneck is. Right now, we're focusing on the lemons, we're focusing on the cups, we're focusing on the marketing. When in reality, maybe our bottleneck is something that we can't see, which is the fact that we don't have a juicer that's efficient enough. So what this is, I'll make this drawing a little bit smaller so we can keep it for reference. This is the theory of constraints, okay? That's what we talked about. Theory of constraints. And there's a great book by somebody named Eliyahu Goldratt, which basically says that every system is stopped and hindered by just one thing, and that focusing your effort on trying to fix any other part of that system is pointless and redundant, because if you fix them, you can get more lemons, you can get more marketing, you can get more cups, you still won't be able to solve the problem of scale. And so to overcome your business challenges and the things that are preventing you from scaling, by following this theory of constraints or the law of constraints, we can follow a simple 4-step framework. So that 4 steps looks like, number 1, identify your desired outcome. Desired outcome. The reason this is step 1 is because if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know when you get there or what to optimize for? Know if, am I trying to double my business's top line revenue? Am I trying to double my customer satisfaction rates? Am I trying to double my referral rates? Whatever that goal is, know what you're optimizing for so that you know when you get there and when you've achieved your target or your goal. Number 2 is identify your bottleneck. And the reason why this is number 2 is because what most founders will do, whether you are a solo founder or you have business partners, is you will start focusing on the things that you're best at and the things that you enjoy doing most. And you will get amazingly proficient at those things, and your business will scale to a specific point because you have done so well at the things that you're good at and the things that you enjoy doing. Now, the reason why most businesses won't be able to get to that next level, and usually the easiest way to find your bottleneck is by focusing on the places where you're weak. What are the things that I don't like doing that suck my energy out when they are on my to-do list? Because that's usually the place where your bottlenecks lie. For example, if you're an amazing marketer, which most people are who run marketing agencies, they might not be as good at sales. They might not be as good at delivering service. And so the fact that your business isn't scaling might actually be more of a symptom or a result of you not being good at sales or service delivery. So number 2 is identify your individual bottleneck. What are you bad at? What are you running away from in your business that is causing you challenges to scale? Because that's usually where you can find your true bottleneck. Once you've figured that out, you've stripped all the layers of the onion away, you know what your actual bottleneck is, the true bottleneck. We're going to move on to step 3, which is address or fix directly. Meaning, if I'm trying to scale my business and I know that I have a bottleneck, do not spend your time doing anything else. No busy work, no other tasks other than fixing that one bottleneck. Because if you understand the law of constraints, like Eliyahu Goldratt says, if you spend your time focusing on anything else other than that bottleneck, it is a complete waste of time. Now, step number four is to inform. And what I mean by inform, I mean inform all your future decisions by this one bottleneck. Most of the time, these bottlenecks will be the same recurring bottlenecks time and time again as your business achieves new levels of scale, right? And a good example of this is actually Facebook. There's a guy who's super smart. You can find a talk of him speaking about this. His name's Chamath Palihapitiya. And he was talking about some of the challenges that Facebook was facing when they were originally trying to scale and become a profitable company. And one of his jobs that he was tasked with was building out their ad platform because, I mean, if you look at Facebook's business model from the top down, that is the place where they make most of their money, if not all their money at the time that this talk was taking place. And that's because people pay money to get their stuff in front of people's eyes who are using the platform. So logically, if you look at the business, I want to make it profitable, let's get more people spending more money in our ad platform. And what they ended up doing was building one of the best programmatic ad platforms that the internet had ever seen. But they still struggled to generate a profit with the business. And so when they sat down with their development team at one of their board meetings, it was, how do we figure out how to make this thing work? Like, what are we missing here? What's our bottleneck? What's our constraint? And what they quickly found out is just by looking at the data, the reason why they weren't making a lot of profit from the ad platform is because there just simply weren't enough eyes on the platform to justify companies spending larger and larger amounts of money to advertise on it. And so they then switched their objective from how do we get more people to spend money in our ad account to how do we get more people to use our app and how do we get more people to return and use our app on a day-to-day basis once they've started. And what they found after that is the simple metric to optimize for was how fast can we get people to sign up and then add 7 friends. Because it brought new people onto the platform. If they made connections, they were likely to come back and continue checking in on the people that they knew. And therefore, they were able to exponentially scale their user base and their returning customer base or user base. And they watched ad profits fly. And to this day, Facebook still optimizes for, are the changes and decisions that we're making contributing to getting somebody to sign up and add 7 friends as fast as possible? Anything that didn't contribute to that, they moved down the priority list or completely removed it from their task list altogether. So if you're struggling to achieve scale, I would challenge you to apply the theory of constraints to your business and take some time to really peel the layers of the onion back to identify what your true bottleneck is. It's usually not what you think it is, because if it was, your business would be at that next level today. If you've made it to this point in the video, hopefully it means I provided the value that you came here for. If you have any questions about what we covered today, business or life in general, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. See you in the next one.